You are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might of the Eugene S. Robinson Stomper. Now you're saying, hey, Mr. Robinson, Mr. I don't know what it is. It's something kind of wrong about the show, something a little bit different. I don't know, can't put my finger on it. Well, we have no musical intro. We have no screaming. I'm sure June could edit that stuff in, but I don't desire to have it edited in. I am in Luxembourg in a hotel. What hotel? Well, I tell you, but I'm afraid you'll send assassins to kill me. I don't know. A hotel with cups like this. And it's very late. We've just finished a show, maybe our fifth or sixth show with Mr. Bungle. For those of you who don't know, that's Mike Patton from Faith No More. His other band, the band he was in before Faith No More. Thank you. And it's finally this new computer, and I cleaned all the yogurt off the screen. I had a lot of yogurt on the screen. So I finally took a rag to it and cleaned it, things that you do on the road when you have time. So we've been playing shows all over Europe, and it's decidedly different from an Oxbow thing, but it is, just to give you a little bit of a backgrounder, it is late, and I'm in a hotel where they don't want us in the first place. so I'm not trying to get thrown out of here. Also, we had a medical emergency about 5 minutes ago. I'm not going to divulge what happened, but one of our members has gashed open his face and his head. And so they are trying to deliver some sort of medical care. And you'll be happy to know that I was distinctly unsympathetic and said, I got to get to the room because I got to do the show. And left them there trying to decide whether they were going to call the paramedics because I've got priorities. So here we are in version 3, 2, 0 of the Eugene S. Robinson Show Stomper with no intro. This is the introless show, and we're just going to get right into it. Well, a few things. If you read the Substack, you know that typically what I was going to do with the Substack this week was, and during weeks when I'm touring, like I did last time with Buñuel, and then the time before that with Oxbow, I like to leave a tour diary. Now, the first tour diary that I ever read maybe was written by Albini, or subsequently David Yao, which is almost like from Jesus Lizard, which is almost like saying the same thing. And it sort of set the template. If you were fans of Oxbow in the 90s, we used to do a newsletter, and the newsletter would also include tour diary stuff. And it was a free-floating kind of narrative id, in a Freudian sense, where I was letting you inside my head. And the tropes were very much along the line of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? And every rude, unkind, or defensively ineffective angle of attack that I decided to take, I wrote it as honestly and directly as I knew how. And I'm sitting in front of the computer a couple of nights ago, probably this time or in the morning, and I thought, well, I'm going to write that. I'm going to write another tour diary. And I was like thinking, and I go, you know what? I think the tour diary should reflect reality. And more important than more important than reflecting reality, it should be as it's always been, or as it's always purported to be, what's happening inside my head. And so all of the past hijinks that went along with going on the road, and the feelings about being on the road, and how you apply yourself to the road, gotten way beyond that. At the age of 61, I'm really far beyond that. I'll tell you exactly where I am. I am, and I said, what is that thing that from Hamlet? What would he do had he the motive and cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears and make mad the weary. And I start to think the 61-year-old Eugene Robinson versus the 19-year-old when I first started touring the country or the world. Initially, it was America. Yeah, I had problems at 19, and that kind of formed the basis of what it was that I was singing about. But then I found solutions to those problems, and then my field of focus changed, as it has over every single record. But the amount of moral terror that is being brought to bear when you're 61 years old and people are dropping dead around you. And don't give me any more shit about 36-year-olds who are dying from natural causes, because they're not fucking dying from natural causes. Nobody at 36 dies from natural causes. But I don't consider, my concerns are not the concerns of a 36-year-old anymore, because they're guys who are 61. And keep in mind, if you're 61 and you drop over fucking dead, everybody says natural causes and nobody blinks a fucking eye. So what I'm smelling and what I'm tasting now is these terrible intimations of mortality, right? So not morality, mortality is death around every corner. Like, I'm terrified to fly, but I'm especially terrified to fly without my family. Do not want to be separated from my family, because I know ultimately I will be. Right? Keep in mind something. Keep in mind something. When Cora is 40, I will be dead. And that is hard to square myself with. We all die. And, we all die. My father, piece of shit that he was, died at 86. The only difference between him, I'm in better shape. As a lifelong athlete, in better shape. However, I would fathom a guess I've taken way more narcotics than he has. And they keep putting these articles about tattoos and being their connection to lymphoma and shit like that. So who knows? Who knows? But here's hoping I make it. But every road sign, every street sign, every guy who I used to know who said, man, last time I saw you play was 20 years ago. Yeah. It puts you in a frame of mind which will explain to you exactly why my take on the fucking UFC fight night is so dour. It's all an opportunity just to snatch you from the skin suit. And I've squared myself with the eventuality of that, but it's the accidental, sudden nature, drifting nature, free floating nature of. I don't know if you do this, but every day that I leave the safety of a place that I perceive to be fairly okay, like a room, or leaving the car, a stopped vehicle, not a driving vehicle, a stopped vehicle, or leaving my house, is fraught, because every single fucking person. I just read this book by Andre Dubus III. It's called Townie. It was recommended to me by Jay Bennett, writer for Decibel, and also a member of the band, used to be a member of the band Eyes of Gemini. He goes, you should read it. I think you might like this guy's writing. And he writes a lot about some of the same stuff you do, and it gives you a pretty good description of where I grew up. So I got the book and I just finished it on tour. It's about 360 pages, a great book. And the guy is dealing with a lot of these issues that I'm dealing with. But I start to think like, yeah, man, this shit is free floating. And as long as I've got the safety and security of four walls around me and nobody can get in, and I can't really get out, I'm generally pretty comfortable. But that doesn't have anything to do, doesn't come close to touching the hidden assassins. Those scheming to yank me off the planet. What are you talking about, Mr. Robinson? My liver, my kidney. How is it pronounced? W's? Dubis. Well, he said they mispronounced, and when he's getting arrested by a cop and they call him Dubis. So that's where I got Dubis from. But Dubus, okay, I'll go for it. Yeah. So, the hidden assassins, my heart, my liver, my kidneys, my brain, my using these fucking cell phones. You don't know what they. Oh yeah. What about strangulated testicles? Ever think of that? You ever think about, look at your testicles hang by vas deferens. What's to keep them from spinning around like a Christmas tree bulb and then strangulating themselves because there's an absence of blood flow? What about that? What about sepsis? Okay, part of this is driven by my algorithm. You got to know my algorithm is giving me all these terrifying tales of daring do where people are, I went to the doctor, I had a cough. Now the woman's got one lung removed and 75% of the other lung. She's walking around. No, she's got 75% function of the remaining. She's walking around 75% functioning. That's not even the case. If you take one, so say 50-50, take away one, it's not even 70%. You just say she's got a 30% functioning lung. Thought she had a cough. Every single doctor misdiagnosed her, and she's a white woman, right? The doctors go in. You see the healthcare discrepancies with people. Well, first of all, between men and women, and take men seriously at all, and of course, women say the same thing. They don't take me seriously at all. But then the whole racial disparity in healthcare, forget about it. Forget about it. Got this new nice shirt. Speaking of which, the guy who designed this, nice lawyer from Wisconsin, Delzer, Jeff Delzer, also has been having health issues himself. So we're not selling these on the site yet, but if we come back from tour and we've got any left, try to buy some. And I'm going to send some of this money to Jeff, even though as a lawyer, he doesn't need it, but it probably just shows that people care given his wider health issues. So this universe is fraught with not just paranoia, and anxiety and a generalized mistrust. Now, I just left the club where we just played, and all these, I guess you call them Luxembourgese. Somebody look up what yeah, so scaring you, look, media for a long time has done the same thing. Fear and greed, fear and greed, fear and greed. I can motivate you with fear and greed, so I will motivate you with fear and greed. But nah, they say America is safer than it's ever been. Well, sadly, I'm not in America right now. So, but my worries are complete and total. And so I said, how can I got this like fucking Atlas? I got this 1,000-pound weight on my shoulder. How can I not explain how the tour diaries have, there's no fun-loving, rollicking ride that it used to be. Every minute, like a live box sings, every minute of every hour of every day, I am thinking about specifically this. Yeah, there you go. Fuck Cyclos here. It sounds like a heavy way to live, but it just is what it is. And Luxembourgers. There you go. Thank you, man. So the reality of it is, look, I'm not trying to burden you, but I'm trying to contextualize the fucking thing and get people ready for the fact that I'm only going to do 2 more, right? Because the last show with Bungle is tomorrow, and then we have a bunch of Oxbow shows. Well, technically tomorrow, but then we meet up with them again at Hellfest with us, Bungle, and Metallica. But they're going to be on another stage. We probably won't see them. And the rest of our Oxbow shows, right? So I'll just do 2 more diaries. There doesn't need to be a show by show breakdown. What I've learned from touring with Bungle, we had to put into our contract no vegan slop, because a lot of times we pull into a place that have a big pot of fucking chickpeas or some bullshit, and nobody from the club would be eating it. Say, hey, it's a big pot. You guys can have something. Go, no, it's okay. We don't want to take food away from you guys. No, feel free. No. And then they would go out and they would get something that was 10 times more delicious than what they served us. Don't give me that shit. You don't want to take food away from us. You don't want to eat the shit you cooked. But of course, with Bungle, it's very different. What did I have a couple of nights ago? A beautifully done quiche with some nice rice, a fresh salad, some chicken. It was wonderful, right? I'm hoping. I didn't have to make this whole show about the oopsie, but it just kind of has been weighing on me, and it mirrors my intimate concern, more mortality concerns. But now I'm gonna go to sleep. So thanks for listening. There's no scream, but I'll say it like I always do. Look what you made me do. Ah, don't die, Blondie. Don't die. Don't die. Don't die.